Are muted. Okay, your host Chris Carr. We're muted,
God. And I am Kristen Johnson.
and we are gonna make sure you are Kristen Johnson in a little bit. Today.
Yeah, and you said
the
what?
aliens will be doing a thorough investigation after the show.
No probing, please.
How are you guys? Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully you guys just saw us on Ghost Explorations with the ghost biker Miranda Young, who is our guest tonight. We're super excited to talk to her. I'm going to bring her on. Just a real quick roll call out there. We see you, Brandon Cooper.
Hello, Cooper. Beautiful human.
That's what we call you in Boston. Brandon Cooper.
Our shaman.
From Boston, from Pawtucket. The Pawtucket bucket.
No, it's the Cranston slant.
Cranston. The girls from Cranston have hair that goes like this.
Oh my God.
Oh, they did in the 80s.
Yeah, I was just
That's what we used to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, buddy? Hello, Carol Garcia. What's happening? Anne-Marie Young, I see you out there.
Hello, beautiful. Yes, we are here.
Being a little discreet on the YouTubes. Hey, what's going on?
Jumping platforms.
And Jack Kilowatt, rise
from your grave.
Altered Beast. Thank you, my friend. I thank you for asking, because we love that as much as you do. And Bob Burnell, what's going on, buddy? And George, what is going on? George, you got some killer spirit box sessions going on in your YouTube. Yeah. And I just want to put up your name right here so people can find you on YouTube.
Yes.
Because you got some cool stuff going and brewing. And Bob, well, we know you do. You
do.
And we are looking forward to getting together soon and doing some investigations. So we got stuff we can play on here, and maybe you'd like to come on and talk about it when we do. I think that would be a lot of fun. Great. Let's we'll move on and get right to our guest and get chatting. Miranda Young grew up in the Appalachian Mountains of East Tennessee. In a very rural town of Robbins, Miranda holds a bachelor's degree in mass communications with an emphasis in journalism and advertising. Her professional background included 21 years as a director in marketing, graphic design, and public relations. Professionally, she is also a professional photographer and artist, specializing in drawing historic buildings and monuments. She is the founder, host, producer, and marketing executive behind Ghost Biker Explorations, a world-recognized web series which highlights her travels on her motorcycle to historic and haunted locations around the country. She has been featured in numerous magazines and local newspapers, and she has been a guest speaker at events like the Haunted Mill Paracon.
Oh, yes.
Brandon. And
Brandon Cooper.
Mr. Brandon Cooper. And on podcasts and radio shows across the country, while available on multiple social media platforms. Ghost Biker Explorations is also a popular series on Mix TV, a web TV platform. In 2021, Miranda co-founded the company History, Highways, and Haunts, LLC, and co-owns the historic Scott County Jail, which we're going to see a clip from very soon. True Crime Museum and Paranormal Research Center in Huntsville, Tennessee. So without further ado, let's bring on Miranda.
Hey, guys.
Good evening.
Sorry that took me a while to get through.
Oh, no, that's fine. Just got to add, we just expanded and opened historic rugby after dark investigations and tours as well. So we just did that about 3 weeks ago, I believe.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Well, that's cool. And it is a really cool and unique place that you are talking to us from right now.
I am. I'm here at the historic Scott County Jail here in Huntsville, Tennessee. And I like to call it the Big Sandstone Castle because we're in a 3-story sandstone castle here in the middle of the mountains of East Tennessee.
When you say sandstone, what do you mean by sandstone?
The jail is made out of solid sandstone blocks. They're 3 by 4 by 5 foot thick blocks.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's actually carved out of sandstone, which is a fairly easy stone to carve, as I understand it.
Yeah, and very rich in quartz. So basically, we're sitting inside the middle of a giant conductor because it's 3 stories of sandstone, and then of course you've got the iron bars all throughout as well. So it adds to some interesting activity.
Brandon says,
Absolutely.
I want Miranda to draw a pinhead for me.
We have the box.
We do have the box
Up here.
behind us.
I could for sure do that for him. I've been drawing some classic horror characters, and
Is that right?
Oh, that's awesome.
oh yeah, I could
I have
definitely.
so many sites to show you.
Nice.
I love that one. Marilyn Bast is back. Hello, Marilyn.
Hello, beautiful.
And Jack, of course, is out there. My high school mascot was a sandstoner.
Come on. God, we love Jack.
It's really cool when you're standing in front of the jail here. It truly looks like it's been shot up by a Tommy gun. And we've had people stop and they'll ask, they're like, we've heard stories of back in the 30s, the jail was shot up, but actually because the stones are so big, those are actually the lift points where they built the jail by hand. So when you stand out front, you can actually see where they built it by hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you get a lot of activity in this jail. You spend a lot of time here, which is wonderful. We were talking about on your show just a half an hour ago.
Not Sully.
And the cat's name is not Sully, it's Sally.
Sally, like a cellmate.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Sally.
So
Yes.
like a jail cell. Yes.
Yeah.
And the cat meanders through the building.
I really wanted to tell that story, but
you have some video that I think of Sally, not Sully.
I know.
Sally.
Not from Godsmack.
Yeah, so Sally is our jail cat. She came here as a stray back in April of 2022. So we got her fixed, and she lives here on the first floor. Now, during the day, we have all floors open to her, but at night, we close all the others off, and she has access down here on the first floor. And by all accounts, and over the past, year and a couple months, she seems to have gotten along very well with the spirits. We do believe that she does sense activity, and we see it from time to time, especially when we're doing our flashlight tours and guided ghost hunts. She'll walk into a room. It'll be quiet sometimes. She'll walk into a room with us. And let me just jump back. When we do the flashlight tours, we do a little mini session up on the 3rd floor in the women's cell, where we put K2s out and flashlights. And every now and then, if it's quiet and she walks on that floor, things will start lighting up. Like they're excited to see her. Other times she'll lay there and she'll just all of a sudden roll over, start purring like somebody is petting her. And it's pretty wild. We've even had a couple teams the last little bit that have wanted to investigate with her, and she's gone with them during a portion of the night and actually seen some different activity while she's gone. But the piece that we have here, this actually comes from our security camera footage here in our gift shop, which is literally just on the outside of this room right here. So down here on the first floor, we do have our primary museum room, our gift shop, and those 2 rooms were former cells at one time. And the doors, they're solid, thick doors. They've got the bean hole in them where you can release it and you can feed the inmates. But we always close the gift shop off because we don't want Sally to go in.
I'm sorry, Miranda. What is the name of the hole?
It's the bean hole.
The bean hole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Where you slide the
that
food
on
in?
your show. Yeah.
That's what we've always heard. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Never heard
so
it described like that. So-
Is it big enough to fit a bean, or is there a story behind it?
no, it's like they give beans.
yeah, feed
The
beans.
inmates, and that's it. It's like a little.
The bean hole.
Yeah.
Ah.
There's also other slang for that, but
Catch me after a burrito.
there you go. There you go. And so so this morning, whenever I came in, we're typically closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but we still come into the jail and feed Sally. And so this morning, whenever I came in to open up the True Crime Museum, she was meowing like she typically does, but she didn't meet me at the door. And so I got to looking for her, and she was closed up in our gift shop. And so I remember when I came yesterday to feed her, she, we kind of have this little routine that we do. But in your mind, you're kind of thinking, did I accidentally close her up, or did she walk in as the door was closing? So I went back and reviewed the security camera footage, and I saw that I definitely did not close her up, and that 5:12 this morning, something here at the jail decided to let her in. And so this footage it's a minute long footage, and it shows what she experienced.
You guys got to check this out. Let me bring
Oh
it up.
God, yes.
Yeah, so so couple things. That door being that it was a former cell. There's nowhere to, if she could have by chance got her foot in and opened the door, there's nowhere for her to do that, being that it was a cell. Also, that door is very, very heavy. I mean, it's probably at least 60 pounds at a bare minimum, and she's an 8-pound
Wow.
cat. So, and then she doesn't typically react that way whenever she's in that room. So whenever we have paranormal investigation teams here, we're on site but out of sight, and that's the room that we stay in. And so, Sally stays in there with whoever's on duty that night, and she's always very quiet. She's never walking around, messing around, doing anything. And if I have to do a tour and I put her in there, she goes right in, and then she goes and lays down in her bed. Clearly, when you go in and zoom in on the footage, it's almost like when that door opens, because it tries to open twice. When it opens the third time, it opens way up. It's almost like something either kind of puts her or pushes her into the room, and she's pretty
Yes.
pissed off about the fact that she's in there. Instantly, as soon as the door closes, I mean, she's going off and meowing. That's not a typical, not really
Yeah.
scared, it's an upset meow.
That is way too heavy a door for a cat to be
I was just going to
moving
say
around that
That's
quickly too.
Insane.
And you
Yeah.
see the door open. I may play it again because I want people to see
Yes, please.
how the door opens if you weren't focused on the door itself. And I know I saw there was sort of a kind of a blur. And I mentioned this on the show before when we were on just a half hour ago, guys. Ghost Explorations, check it out.
Yeah.
Something blurry, shadowy, kind of maybe moving the door. I'm not sure. I mean, don't hold me to that, but it's just something I noticed. And there's no way, if you watch the way the door opens and closes,
And it's
A
so
heavy-
heavy. The door
heavy
is
door.
so
It's just-
heavy.
you should say it was
No
60
way.
pounds.
At least.
I mean, even on
least.
well-oiled hinges, that cat is not moving that. I mean,
And
cat,
you can hear.
You can hear it
the
banging.
door. The way, like, how heavy it is. Yeah.
you hear the
Yeah.
banging, and then the
Yep.
cat comes in. The cat is not pleased either. The cat is meowing and like, meow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like something happened. So I'm going to play it one more time because it is pretty cool, and we've got the time. Let me do that. This is awesome. About that comment, Janet. Exactly.
I did see that.
I had to rewind to watch.
Oh, my God.
And what's crazy about that is, so we've captured here at the jail. It's not uncommon. We have a shadow figure here on the uh, here on the first floor that hangs out at our drunk tank that is between 6'8" and 7 feet tall. And then we also have a shadow figure that's on the second floor that has been caught on video camera actually ripping one of our pictures off the wall. So throughout the jail, we have all kinds of photos and newspaper articles of some different true crime here from the community. And the picture that was right outside the kitchen door, it's actually a resignation letter from one of our sheriffs who got involved in the Mexican drug cartel. And so he was arrested. He ended up serving time in federal prison and then passing on. Two former corrections officers were here and they were doing an investigation, heard a noise outside, their tools start going off. So they leave the kitchen, look out there in the hall, and just as they're out in the hall, they've got their camera in their hand, and there is an arm that rips a picture off the wall, flips it in midair, throws it 4.5 feet. And what's wild about this is we kept trying to recreate it, could not recreate it. Everything just kept falling straight down. And so when you watch the video, and now I actually saw the video, the raw footage off the camera, you can see this arm as it's falling off the wall. You see an arm come out, grab it, and throw the picture. And so to have a REM pod, an EDI plus box start going off, then see a shadow figure, a shadow move, a light anomaly, and then the picture come off the wall. All that happened within succession was pretty incredible to have all those multiple tools going off at one time.
That is so wild. And I got a little bit of confirmation of what I thought I saw when we were on with you, as it's Janet says, I see blur in the second attempt to the right next to the word police, which is the sign on the door. If you're watching on your phone, there's a sign on the door, and there is like a little bit of a blur, like a ghost hand or something closing that. And I've left it on the screen for a reason, because I'm going to rewind again so we can look at that just a little bit more. I was so focused on that, I didn't realize the cat got in. Sally got in as quickly as she did. So let me watch a little of that, and then right there. And now the cat's inside, and you can see. Oh, look at that! I paused, and it's not even. All right, start over. One more time.
It's crazy just how far it opens.
Yeah.
I have to ask you a question too. I have a cat in my lap.
Okay, let me pause. Yeah, another cat. We have a cat in here. What was your question?
Are we on?
Yeah.
So when you say you saw a shadow or something, light, was it the shadow dark or light? What did you see?
It's on right here.
I know, but her.
Are you talking about the arm?
You're talking about the other videos.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the arm? And I can actually, I believe I have that. I can actually play that one too, here in a few minutes if we have time. It was dark. It was a dark shadow.
All right, I'm going to let this play through, and then we'll move on to other things you've been up to. Listen to that banging.
I know.
That's crazy. There it goes. Open. Cat's in.
Yeah, and she quickly turns like she's like, what?
What happened?
Yeah, like backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she's pushed in. Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that.
Confirmation of that.
I love that. That is really cool. Sure, and we can play more videos, but what have you been up to? We talked to you not too long ago, and
So well, like I said, we just expanded here with History Highways and Haunts and opened up at Historic Rugby. We've got that location open for investigations as well as lantern tours, and it's about 20 miles here from the jail. And it is a utopian village, a British utopian village that was established in 1880 as a village for the second and third sons of England, because basically your first sons, they were the ones who they got they acquired the inheritance from the family, and so the second and third sons, they really didn't get much. And so Thomas Hughes, who was the writer of Tom Brown's School Days, he established this community. Basically the village existed for right around about 10 years, due to the fact that it was an establishment by second and third sons. They really weren't able to continue on. They also had a typhoid fever outbreak. The railroad that was supposed to go through that community, it didn't end up going. The spur that was supposed to be built, it didn't end up getting built like it was supposed to. Anyways, it ends up being a failed utopian society. And so now there are several structures that still exist. It's home to the oldest lending library in the country. There's books from the 1600s, 17 and 1800s inside of the library itself. I mean, just going in the library is amazing. Once you're inside there, being surrounded by these original first editions of some of these books, but you get access to be able to investigate the library, the old schoolhouse, which was also a church at the time. Thomas Hughes's house that he had while he was there, known as Kingstone Lisle, Uffington House, as well as some of the varying places, property or locations there on the property. And so we've been able to partner with Rugby itself and open this up for investigations. Some of them are just a 6.5 hour investigation. We do have limited nights to where people can actually come do an investigation and spend the night on several of the different properties there. But those are limited dates because it is a lodging location. So we've expanded and opened that. Also filming for season 6, trying to get that underway of Ghost Biker Explorations. And then really just developing out the museum here at the jail and trying to get some haunted motorcycle rides underway. Just been very, very busy the last little bit.
It sounds like it. And that's wonderful. And for people that don't know, Eastern Tennessee and the Appalachians, I mean, that is beautiful country. It's country we didn't really know ourselves until we drove to Pickens, South Carolina, right, from New England. And we cut through some of that area.
Yeah.
And that's the area where they have like those truck ramps, where like the
Oh my
oh
God.
shit ramps,
That's what Terry Moore said. Oh my God, the oh shit ramps.
right? Because
Yes.
the elevation keeps changing, and they literally have these little off ramps for trucks to just kind of like lose control.
Freaking out. Yeah,
Ah,
he's like, oh my God.
Freaking out.
That's
we
a
were-
common thing here in Middle and East Tennessee.
But beautiful. I mean, absolutely gorgeous Appalachian
God.
Mountains and
Yes.
historic. What an area. The jail itself, you mentioned, is 3 floors.
It is. Originally, it was 2 stories originally, and the second floor would have been maximum security at the time. The first floor would have been the jailer's quarters where the jailer and his family lived, and then after the 1970s, the jailer's family didn't have to live on site anymore, so they converted this area down here to a cells at that point, and so. Then after they added the third story in 1922, they turned the second floor into trustee style cells. So they're more of kind of the dorm style cells. And then the upstairs level are all maximum security cells.
Wow. Lots of people out there. Hey, Jay Hill, how you doing? And there's Mr. Brady right there.
Yes.
Glad you all came to Pickens, South Carolina. It was quite a journey down there, but the haunting at the Mill
18
Paracon
hours.
was fantastic, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a 2024,
Mhm.
and we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, we are.
I mean,
Yeah,
if we're
such a
gonna
good Paracon.
It is.
It was
Yeah,
a lot
it's
of
so
fun.
much fun.
was a lot of fun. I haven't been to one where you can camp, and camping was it was awesome. Yeah, we had such a good time.
You know, I think the thing that I was most impressed about was how every region of the country seemed to be represented by paranormal investigators,
Yes.
authors, equipment makers. I mean, Brandon did an amazing job of pulling people from all areas of the country and representing. I mean, that the presentations were just phenomenal.
They were the West Coast to the East Coast. We get that. Yeah.
Especially for a first year of a Paracon. You don't always see such a variety during a first annual, and he did an amazing job. And just the location itself was such a great place to
It was cool.
surrounded by
The
such good
history. Yes.
A lot of history. There's
Absolutely.
petroglyphs
Love
Yeah.
the history.
and such.
Oh, the petroglyphs. Oh my God.
Very
Don't even
cool.
get me
Very
started.
cool. But you're doing a lot of events. I see you everywhere. Right.
I am. This month has actually been a month where I've not been traveling, but it will pick back up here in July. I'm very excited to be speaking for my first time there at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. I'll be speaking on that Friday, the 14th, I think at 4:30. So I'm very excited because I know that's another one that a very well established Paracon with lots of people from all over the country. So I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of these people that I say live in my phone or live in Facebook land. So excited to be going up there. And then in August, I will be at the Deep South Paracon in Ozark, Alabama. This is their second annual Paracon, Mr. Stan Fikes. And Wiregrass Paranormal does a really wonderful job putting this on. And then let's see, going into September, I'm going to be at... I'm going to be out in South Dakota at the end of the month. There, yes,
Our
at the
friends
Deadwood
are
Park.
there. Yes.
Yes,
The Horns.
yes,
Paranormal Research. Yes. Brandon is going to be there.
yes. Being able to take, go out there to the motorcycle mecca, at to Sturgis and Deadwood, and
Yes.
then over on into October. Of course, we're picking up spooky season at that point. That's when the
Right.
Ghost Biker
It's like
Biker
Christmas,
season
really.
will drop.
It is
Yep.
Christmas for us.
And exactly. And I do a lot of partnering with Harley Davidson because I've been so busy this year. This is the only Harley Davidson event that I have, but it will take place in October. And all the money raised from that is going to go to the London Laurel Shop with a Cop. It's going to be at Wildcat Harley Davidson. We're having a motorcycle ride. It's
Wow.
a free motorcycle ride. And then a paranormal investigation and a meet and greet there at Harley Davidson.
Oh, that is
That's
really
so
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great. That sounds amazing. With the new season of your show,
Mhm.
Ghost Biker Exploration, how do people watch that? I want to make sure people know how to get there.
Sure. So people can go back and binge watch all the past 5 seasons. It's on the Ghost Biker Explorations Facebook page, Ghost Biker Explorations YouTube channel, and www.ghostbikerexplorations.com. Every one of them, they've got all the 5 seasons, and then it's followed up by what I call Behind the Screams, where I go in and analyze each of the episodes. I'll have it's a live stream where I have folks on who either own the locations or did the investigations with me as a collaboration. So all of that is within each of the seasons. And then the season will drop every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern live on YouTube, on Facebook. I think we're actually staggering it this year because, Facebook is constantly changing things. And
Oh, my
so
goodness, we know. Yes.
yes. And so we typically do them as a live premiere, but because Facebook removed that option, I think we probably release, I believe we're releasing the episodes on Facebook at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then they'll be followed at either 9:30 or 10, depending on how long the episode is on YouTube after that. And so that will definitely be a live premiere at that point.
That is so cool.
Great.
Now we were getting into some kind of deep discussions on your show about things like vibrations and
I have a thing with frequency and vibrations. So
Yes.
the idea of maybe different vibrations, yes, and
Mhm.
not necessarily being in a location where you can talk to spirits and that sort of thing. And I wonder what you thought about that, and what have you learned in your paranormal travels?
Yeah, for me with being a location owner now, that's really kind of opened my eyes a lot because I feel like we're continually doing research here. Between myself and my business partner, we're here at this location up to about 16 hours a day, whether it be during the daytime on our daytime tours or working the evening shift with our flashlight tours and private investigations. um, you know, we're able to really try a lot of different experiments that you're maybe not necessarily able to try if you're going to a typical just commercial location, a one and done type thing, or even some residentials where you come in, investigate a little while, and then leave.
Right.
We've really been able to go in and do that. And one of the things that we've noticed here, especially, is that frequency does tend to trigger a lot of activity. We've been experimenting with music for one thing, and then also with frequency meters going in, like the God frequency of 963. The very first time we tried that, we were up in the area that is the Jerome Boyett cell, and we did it on the anniversary of the night that he and his cellmate were actually taken out of here and lynched. And so here in East Tennessee, we have a lot of mob mountain justice, and we've had at least 7 inmates that have been taken out of here by mobs of people and lynched or executed on different pieces of the property. And so on this particular night, we were in there. We played the frequency. We had 2 different REM pods set up in 2 of the cells in this one particular cell block. As soon as we played it, one REM pod goes off, and it's almost like it tries to match the frequency. Within probably 2 seconds, the second REM pod goes off. And so here we're playing this frequency, and 2 REM pods, they're not chirping, they're not chiming. It's just a continual, just like the frequency.
Like a
And
charm.
so, yeah, like it was trying to match it. And so after we stopped, I think we probably played it for, it was probably about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. As soon as we stopped, one of the REM pods stops, and then shortly thereafter, the second REM pod stops as well. Now, we've not been able to get that to do, I don't know if it's like a lightning thing where, you're very fortunate if you capture it once, but we've not been able to get it do it again. But I've never in my almost 15 years of investigating had anything go and match a frequency like that.
Oh, that is so strange. And what is that frequency? Can you talk a little bit on
Yeah.
that?
So what is the
God
God
frequency?
frequency?
That I think you said 963.
Yeah. So
How did you play it? Where did you play it? From what?
I just played it from I had a like just a frequency meter there, and just turned it on to that specific number. So I'm a big
It's really cool.
believer in binaural beats, which
Yeah, we are too.
yeah, which I mean, I use it a lot because I have anxiety, and for me, that's one of the things. If I can't sleep, I'll play that. If I'm also, like I said, an artist, and so if I'm having like a mental creative block, I like to listen to it on the lower frequencies there for creativity. I mean, binaural beats can even help control your blood pressure. It's really fascinating what these vibrations, and we spoke about this earlier. The body is made, it's a very high percentage of water, and you can actually watch when you're playing these beats and playing these vibrations, the effect that they have on water itself. So why would it not have the same effect when you're dealing with beta and theta and all of that? And so so we experiment with that a lot, and we did it one time not long before live. We played binaural beats, and we played it on the spirit communication level, which is right around that 963 megahertz frequency. And we actually ended up having a door slam while we were doing our live.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll have to try
Come
that.
on.
That's one we haven't really tried. We are big
Yeah.
fans of the binaural beats.
Yes.
One of the things we do on
Right.
Greg,
Cautious show what we were telling you before. Yeah.
yeah, metaphysical crossings when we're doing the Estes is we have a wonder box
Excuse me.
that we built that has a
Mhm.
Bluetooth channel in it.
Mhm.
So besides running the spirit box through that with like a noise gate and a reverb, we're using that Bluetooth channel to just put a theta
Yeah.
binaural beat through it, right? To put us in theta, trying to get there quickly, trying to get in that relaxed mental state
Yeah.
where your brain is able to line up and sync
Try to go on.
the hemispheres, right? And into the a theta state, because that I think is where most of the stuff happens, is in that theta state, alpha to theta.
Hmm.
But we haven't tried this to straight up. Is it
963?
963? I don't know.
963. Yeah. If you can do it as simple as just downloading like one of the frequency generators on your phone. You
Yeah.
can do that. There are places you can go online. You can also get a frequency generator. That's just a standalone meter. And so
Very cool.
I find I have more luck with that than, well, I don't really want to say that. I've had different degrees of luck with playing the binaural beats and then also with playing the frequency meter. The frequency meter, we tell people there's times you can play it and just turn it real low and do an EVP session and get voices over the frequency. There's other times if you just sit and play it for a while, it's almost like it just kind of ramps things up. And we've had some really incredible knocking sessions after doing that.
Oh wow.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
crazy.
yeah, I love it. And I would have never thought about it until just, having a conversation with someone. Cause I know the binaural beats function a similar way of like the way the God helmet works with going in on the, yeah. So, and I can truly attest that there are certain ones that if you listen to them where if I can't sleep, you almost get, and it's that theta level you were talking about. It's almost like feel like you're levitating almost. I've had
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
It-
it's wild.
It's that
Yeah.
where you're at before you go to delta, which is like sleep.
Yeah.
You're not even conscious in delta, right? So that's that kind of hypnagogic
Mhm.
area, right?
Sleep.
Just before
Yeah.
sleep or coming
Yeah.
out of it is kind of that theta zone. So if you can get your brain there, it opens you up to a lot of things.
Yeah.
No, I
my God
jumped
helmet.
timelines with
That-
that.
Yeah, we've had like
I've
weird
never had
timeline
that before in my life.
things happen where we're convinced
I'm like,
we're
oh my God.
in another
Yeah.
timeline and we have these parallel lives when you come out of it.
It's
Which is like a
weird. It's
dream
really
kind of
weird.
thing. But-
It is.
It's very intense and it's strange, and the kind of like the memory that goes with it is different than normal dreams.
Bob Purnell has a question about
Oh yeah. All right. I'm sorry.
that. No,
I was going to
sorry.
say something. I lost it. If you were to pick a frequency, where do you think you'd be most likely to make contact? What would that frequency be? All right, you're right. And Bob had asked in the last show, what is the frequency to get ghosts, right? Like where are they vibrating? And that is a magical question because nobody really knows. I don't think. I think you'll agree with me, Miranda. Like we don't know what it is. We just know it's kind of
I want to
something
make so many tools. You have no idea.
different than what we're at, right?
Right.
So we seem to be at a slightly different frequency, and we're trying to make tools like Kristen's
Yes,
making
I
tools
really
over here to tune into that frequency we don't know yet. Like what's that magic frequency? I don't know.
From what I've found, it's that upper frequency. That 963 works for us a lot. And if you do look at some of the different binaural beats and that sort of thing, they are up in that higher frequency. The spirit communication frequency is what a lot of them will call it, for opening yourself up, opening your third eye, opening in a meditative state. A lot of them tend to be in that upper 960 frequency. From what we found, and just from where I've talked to different other people who use it, that's what that 963 is called. It's called the God frequency.
Yes.
There you go. Jack says it's called the God frequency because it's based on numerology or secret numbers. Well, maybe that's right. I know with the binaural beats and the hemisync, right? It's kind of the difference between the two.
Mhm.
You have slightly different frequencies in each ear, and the difference, the subtraction between them, is where your brain ends up, right? And that creates those theta and beta states if they align, and you can
Mhm.
relax enough with them.
And I
Um,
would say, honestly, it's different for different people too. I mean, it probably within I mean, there's probably a variance of what it is. It's probably similar, but it's like, certain things that reacts for some people and not for others. I'd say it falls. I don't know what the number, the hit or miss number would be on that. But I would say it is kind of different because some things I've had friends that have done the binaural beat stuff and they're like, I get nothing from it.
yeah,
But
headache or something.
but
Gotta-
these are also friends that tell me, they get headaches when they meditate or can't meditate, for whatever reason. So I think a lot of it just depends. But I can only speak to what we've experienced here at the jail, where when we've played the binaural beats at the spirit communication level, if we have that playing for like, 30 minutes to an hour before going in and doing an experiment, it lights things up. So it seems to affect whoever's here. Um, you know, I mean, we've noticed that. We've also noticed the rain is something that does tend to really affect things more so than moon phases.
Yes.
We tend to get more activity based on the weather than based on moon phases here.
oh, that's
Absolutely.
super
We agree with
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you find the rain and barometer is maybe dropping, the barometric pressure
Yeah.
make a difference, like that calm before the storm. Is that a good time, or do you think you need to have it drop and be like more within the full storm?
It depends. So I've been noticing this for years. When because I love my EDI Plus box. That is probably one of my absolute favorite tools because I like to measure those atmospheric changes. And so I've noticed before I get some of my best EVPs or before I get some of the more I guess more physical type interactions, we get not hits on the pressure there on the EDI Plus box. And so we've noticed that. And then here, it would be interesting to keep like a barometer up or something when we have those storms to see. It seems like whenever teams are here and it's raining or a storm is approaching, I can't really say if it's necessarily before or after, but those are the nights that seem to be a lot more active than nights when it's just a beautiful full moon.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. Not what people would expect, which is a little like
No,
the
no.
daytime investigating that we talked about on your show. A lot of people don't think that's a legit time. Although
love
No,
it tends to be the cat's ass, in our opinion, during the day.
the
But
daytime here is
it's,
I love doing daytime investigations. And
Yeah.
daytime here is this place is just as active during the day as night. Now, sometimes it's different. We tend to get sometimes more residual activity, but of course, a jail is a little bit different than some of these other places. Like you can think about a school. Obviously, a school is probably going to be more active during the day because you've got school in session and things like that going on, getting a lot of activity. Here at the jail, yes, you've got your times, but at night, you've got the jailer that would do his rounds. So we get a lot of residual activity at certain times during the night with footsteps. This is a location that really never really slept very much because upstairs they really didn't turn the lights off very much. And, it was just constantly loud because we would have issues with overcrowding. So it's really active day or night here because it was pretty much an open location all the time.
oh, I bet. I mean, you think about the
Yeah.
kind of people that were there against their will, if you will, and the fact that they were in prison, and there were people checking on them and keeping them in there. They were kind of oppressed because they had to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like the kitchen area, the kitchen is very active. So the room that Sally was in, that was the original first floor kitchen. We get a lot of really cool activity in there. But after the 70s, it was moved up to the second floor. And so that's when the inmates started cooking there. So if you imagine at probably 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, um, starting to cook breakfast.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, we've had different reports that at certain periods of time, and it depended on who your jailer or sheriff was at the time. At
Sure.
one point in time, they actually served 3 hot meals here. A lot of jails, it's 1, but and the rest were usually cold meals. Now later on, they did serve basically cold bologna sandwiches and cold meals. But at one point in time, it was 3 hot meals and usually potatoes every meal. So you can imagine throughout the day when the jailer's wife was cooking, that area would be very active. And then when the inmates were cooking, it'd be very active during the day, especially with residual smells and sounds and that sort of thing.
Sure. And Sally, it's beautiful.
Baby.
She likes
She
to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do. Bob had a good question. What does your basic camera rig consist of? in your
So
identification?
it depends because I am a solo investigator. And so for me, I either am investigating by myself or I'm investigating with one other person that is, excuse me, that is following me as my videographer. And so, as far as, I really don't have a basic because it depends on where I'm at. And I have to travel a certain way because I'm on the motorcycle. So I always have static cameras regardless of where I'm at so that I can cover as much ground as I can because sometimes I'm just doing handheld. It could be a phone. It could be a little IR camera. But I always have a static camera that's there to get other shots. I do GoPro a lot. I also do drone footage. So I really don't have a basic because it depends on what I'm having to do at the moment.
Excellent. Is there a night cam that you use with like infrared light that you particularly like, or?
Yeah.
So for me, for the most part, so I've created these little kits when I travel with really the only night vision cameras at this time that I use are my static cameras. And those are just battery powered static cameras that I can put up. And in my kits, I've always got some type of trigger item. I've got a laser grid. I've got a flashlight. I've got 2 recorders, one to record audio, one to record pre-record questions in case I'm not investigating in the room. I want to see if it reacts different when I'm in the room versus when I'm just playing pre-recorded questions. And so I like to always have that flashlight or laser grid so that when you're going back and watching 8 hours of camera footage, you can better see if it reacts with something than just, those are always night vision. For me, when I'm filming, otherwise, I actually like to film with a red light and just film in low lighting. I don't do a lot of just complete darkness filming for that reason because I feel like I'm able to see shadows better. I'm able to see, and the red light seems to really work really well for the eyes to see.
So nice.
So yeah, I like ambient lighting when I do it. So typically I really don't, I know that there's some great, like dead lights are fantastic and they work real well with cameras. I just haven't transitioned to that because I like a quick setup and a quick breakdown. Because I really do have a lot of limited space on the bike.
And you mentioned you use GoPros, and they're kind of a little bit notorious for not doing well in low light. So having some
Exactly.
sort of
Having some type of ambient lighting. I use newer lights where you can adjust cold or warm lighting. A lot of those are film lighting. And so I can put those on a very, very low setting and either do warm or cold. And it works really well with my GoPro. I also use police body cams, and those do have IR lighting on that. And
Mhm.
so those actually work well because if I get the opportunity where I can sleep at a location, I love doing that. We talked about the astral projection and talked about the different activity you get in that vulnerable state. So several investigations I've done, I've slept there, and a lot of the time I just use my body cams, set those up because the audio is really good on those, and I can get I'm usually not sleeping any more than 3 or 4 hours at the most. So it'll typically cover it.
Yeah, and I think you played us a clip when you were on last time
I
from doing
did.
it. Actually, yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. It was quite good, like an EVP.
Yeah.
But there was another clip I think you wanted to play tonight.
Let's see. I've got several. So let me see if I can
Feel free to share.
pull that up.
Sharing is caring. That's what we used to say in high school. Sharing is caring.
So, so I'm going to play from the room that we were just in, and so basically, it's an EVP from the gift shop here, and so what it's going to do is it's going to play it through three times. So after our first investigation, basically the way we structure it, one of us is here. After the investigation is over, we go in, get things ready for the teams for the daytime when we open the museum. So we lock the cells and get everything kind of cleaned up from where the team was. So the team had been gone for probably about 20 minutes. It was 3:30 in the morning, and I came out of the gift shop, and as I'm kind of passing in here to the booking room, I hear a hum, and it's coming from the landing between the second and third stair, and it's this deep, rich hum. I froze, and I thought, am I hearing a car or something? Well, I end up, whatever it is, coughs in the middle of the hum, and then goes on and hums for another 3 seconds. So it was probably about 6 seconds in total. And of course, I'm sitting there, I'm very unexpected. And then also I was kind of pissed because I didn't have any type of recorder with me. And so what you're going to see is I'm actually walking back into the gift shop to get my stuff. And I'm a little bit sort of frazzled because of what I've heard. So you kind of see me kind of shaking my hands. But there are two voices that we captured on this footage. I reached out to my business partner and asked her when she came in the morning if she would look at the footage and see if we caught the hum. We didn't catch, and so she goes to the exact time that I told her. She's like, we didn't catch the hum, but we did catch these two voices.
Very cool. All right, let's bring that right up.
So this is something that we found to be quite common here at the jail, that our spirits are not only intelligent, but they are very aware of what's going on. And so we do believe that the two voices that were captured, one says, there she is, and the other says, not so loud next time, and that they were talking about me, but then also talking to whoever was humming over on the stairs. So it was too far. You know how these security cameras are, they don't really catch audio. And that's why a lot of the time when I'm doing during investigations,
it's totally there. I had to turn it up, and I'm always cautious about playing straight up EVPs on air, because when you stream them, there's some audio loss. So I'm hoping everybody's hearing that, but we can hear it in our headphones quite clearly. And it's there she is, and it's right there.
Oh my
God. I guess they're talking amongst each other, right? It sounds like one's talking to another.
It's so bizarre.
That's what we think. We believe that that they are talking amongst each other because, again, we weren't able to capture the hum, but we were able to capture those voices.
Let me see. Let's see. Greg says, I have an IR body cam, and I believe somebody asked, I think it was Karma Wild, where can I get a body cam? So where do you purchase such a thing?
I mean, you can find them on, I'm sure with us talking about it, it's going to show up on our Facebook feeds here shortly, advertising.
Yeah, right.
If you just do a good search for police body cams, you can definitely find some different types.
Good EVP catch, and it certainly is. Again, like playing those. I don't know what it sounds like to the people. I know that we've done it a bunch of times, and we were like kind of disappointed when we play the things back. I go, oh, we couldn't really hear it like we heard it in the studio.
Well,
You
I'm
know?
trying to
But I think everybody
find-
did hear that because that was like super clear and very, very good. Very good.
I'm looking here to see because I know that looking to see if I have it here on my computer. It's the one where the picture comes off the wall, and while we're talking here, I'm going to see if I can find that. But that's probably one of the best things that's actually come from the jail here is that picture that was ripped off the wall here on the second floor, and it's pretty incredible. If I can find that here.
And Linda in our audience are saying Amazon is a good place to find
Yes.
the
Yeah.
body cams.
Actually, she's not the only one.
Convenient. There
You
go.
Yeah.
You just have to watch with those when you find them because some of them the footage is so large. They've gone through and they've the first iteration that I had the footage. I mean, for like an hour or two of footage, you almost needed a terabyte to pull it off. So I would just see what the download size is of the files for sure.
Yeah, and some things get questionable. We have an IR
Yeah.
camera that we got on Amazon, and I mean, I wouldn't give it the best rating. You know, I think your mileage can vary. There are so many variations on there of a lot of these products, and they're all companies you've never heard of.
Yeah.
But, you know, you really got to look at the reviews, and then you got to study them, make sure they're talking about the same actual camera that you're
Mhm.
buying, right? I know I went through a lot of that and getting the one that we have, and
We
we don't love it. The battery's terrible on it, but yeah, you know, if you can get a Sony, you know, go with the name, you know, if possible.
I'm trying to remember, and I don't have it in front of me. It's one of the best that I've ever found. The file size is good, and it's I mean it's I cannot think of the name. It's got it's got a different I cannot think of the name of it, but it's a really good video. The audio is really good, picks up whispers and such. But and then also the video footage, you don't get that lag, so you don't get when it goes into hour, you don't get the trailing that you get with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are there particular recorders you like for just capturing audio only and getting around the video? Just straight
You know,
up?
they don't make mine that I get anymore, which is unfortunate. You can find it on there for like crazy expensive, but I just like just the regular old Sony dictation recorders. Go in and kind of adjust the settings on it. I like those. I mean, I've got several Zoom recorders. I've got several really expensive ones, but my mobile recorders that I keep with me all the time, that's just a regular Sony dictation. And then the ones that I've got 8 different static cams that I put out. I have a Sony recorder recorder that I sit with that just to get the audio.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some elusive Holy Grail type
Elusive.
recorders out there too. We were on an investigation very recently with a friend of ours. His name is Joe Leone, who has one of those Panasonic. I think it's the
Yeah.
CR60. I forget the name of it. It's that one that's really hard to get and costs a lot of money, but it's really like kind of a crappy recorder too. It has a lot of like white noise in it and stuff. But he was capturing shit left and right. Like it was like, wow.
He hated
Yeah,
it. Was
he-
that the
yeah,
one
he hated it for
Oh
years.
my god, he even
And-
wrote a review for it.
He did.
How
And
much he hated it.
if
And
you
then all of a
look
sudden
the recorder up, you'll probably find his negative review from like years ago. And now he loves the thing, and I'll be damned, it worked in
it
person.
works.
Yeah.
And there's really good different ones that are good for playing, in slow motion and going back and reviewing EVPs when you do your burst sessions and stuff like that. Again, just for me personally, because I'm doing this with, myself, I don't do a lot of the burst stuff unless I'm doing a guided ghost hunt here at the jail or, doing a live. I wait and I just review all of my evidence. Now I do a lot listening to headphones into my recorder so I can hear in real time, but for the most part, I don't listen to it in the moment just because I'm going to go back and listen at a later time, see if I've got any video to link up to it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's always a nice surprise, right? To go back and
Yeah.
go, oh my God, I didn't even hear that. It's
Yeah.
so cool. We love when that happens. Although, the thing with the noise in that Panasonic recorder I mentioned kind of goes back to that painter's palette thing, right? We were talking about on your show, Ghost Biker
Yeah.
Exploration, because there's like this white noise underneath that kind of lends itself to making words. And we really think that's a thing. Like
It is.
they'll take the environmental noises, they'll take your breath, they'll take birds, insects and things like that, and try to form words. And as weird as that sounds, I swear, swear it's true.
Yep.
There's something to it that just is. I mean, I would rather have a perfectly clear by field recorded EVP with no other noise at 96 hertz, perfect recording, whatever it is. But, it seems rare. I think they need something to pull from. I don't know why.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, you never know. I've noticed too. I have several really pairs of really nice headphones that I like to use, but I will not use noise canceling headphones whenever I'm listening to audio, because I found several times if I'm using noise cancelers, it will actually cancel out the EVPs. And I've gone back and listened with just my regular Bose headphones that are just good standard, like $200 Bose headphones or earbuds. And you can hear and listen to the same audio. And when you're using your noise cancelers, you won't hear it. It does seem like it
Never
almost
use
needs
noise canceling. Never use that. Never use.
no.
For headphones like these are studio headphones, and what that more or less means is that the EQ on them is flat. They're made for making music. If you're recording music, say into a mixing board or something like that, you're going to hear it as it genuinely is. So like a Bose will have a certain EQ to it. It's a wonderful sounding EQ. They sound great, but they're not necessarily replicating what was recorded.
Right. And so that's why I never do noise canceling, because they're piping in that sound too on noise canceling to cancel out the others. So I never do that. I just use just my standard Bose headphones that I have. The only time I use my noise cancelers is when I'm doing an Estes session.
Same with like high pass filters, low filters, anything like that. You want to leave the EQ exactly flat. And I mean, at least our opinion, right? Everybody's got their own thing.
No, that's what I think.
Really try to just leave everything as natural as possible, because there are a lot of built-in things, even with like our Tascam field recorder we use a lot. It's got a bunch of settings in there if you want to play with them, but everything really should be flat, and try to get it as natural as possible. And the speakers you play it through, which is something a lot of people don't think about, right? You want them to just have a flat tuning EQ so that you hear what's actually there, as opposed to it pumping up the bass. What are those headphones that kind of almost hip hop headphones?
Oh, Beats.
Yeah, like Beats. You're going to have a more bass heavy EQ naturally. And no matter what you play through them, it's going to kind of change it, right? So it's changing the data that you captured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing too, these recorders, both audio and video. I mean, there's so many different settings that I know a lot of us probably don't use. Some people will use them. I mean, because they're, like an audiophile, or they're somebody that's really into, they put videos together, and producer, that sort of thing. But that's why for me, so with my episodes, I try to keep my episodes fairly short, anywhere from 20 minutes to, I think the longest might be 50 minutes, but I like to keep them short. And then I will edit and make very, very slick the story part of my episodes, because because I'm telling the history, and I'm telling why I'm there. And I want it to be just a beautiful setting wherever I'm at. I want the audio to be very good. that sort of thing. But when it comes to the investigation, I keep it as raw as can be because I don't want anything touched. I won't edit any of the look and feel. I may put captioning on the EVPs so that people can go back to that. But you won't see me doing editing on the video at that point during the investigation because I want that to be as raw and as natural as it was when it was recorded.
We think that's the way to go as well. And this has been super informative. Where is the best place for people to find you, find Ghost Biker Explorations, see the seasons in particular?
Haunting at the Mill Paracon.
Besides, which we're all going to be at next year.
Yes. So, so the best place, I'm very active on the Ghost Biker Explorations Facebook page. We do the weekly live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern time every Thursday night on there. But as far as the episodes, you can watch all the episodes on the Facebook page as well as any lives that we do. You can also watch them on the Ghost Biker Explorations YouTube channel. We've got them all separated out into some nice little playlists there, divided up by each season. And then also on the website, www.ghostbikerexplorations.com.
It's a fabulous looking website. I
Yeah,
really, I got to tell you, I'm going to just share a little bit of that because this is awesome. What a great job you did.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Helps if I hit the play button, right?
I had to block somebody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
We always got one.
One.
At least it wasn't offering readings.
That's right.
Gotta love those folks. So, like, this is a serious website, Miranda. Like,
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you.
we need your help.
I am always happy to help.
We will pay you. This looks so good.
I do. I actually do graphics for paranormal teams, websites for different conventions or businesses, and marketing, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Thank you.
Your bio was amazing and
well,
awesome.
thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for having you on your show.
You. Yeah,
Absolutely.
We want our folks to make sure they go and check you out on Facebook, on YouTube, on the web, Ghost Biker Explorations. Just look that up. It's going to come back. Miranda Young, wonderful person. We've had a lot of fun.
Yes.
And we love scratching our heads trying to figure this stuff out because
all of us.
It really is
what we're all trying to do.
What we're trying to do, and nobody has all the answers. We're just trying to figure it out, but we learn a little bit along the way, and we're so glad to share it with everybody that was out here tonight,
and especially you, Miranda.
See you guys soon, and thank you again.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to investigate the jail, just look up the historic Scott County Jail. It's got our website and Facebook, and you can come book an investigation here.
We do.
Oh my God!
Come on.
I said that before.
We like that. That country was beautiful out there.
Yeah, even when
Tennessee,
before we even got on your show, like, oh my God,
it's gorgeous. So thank you again so much, and we'll see you guys Saturday. We have Rex Nielsen's coming on.
Oh yes, we do.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Brandon.
Speaking of haunting at the Mill Paracon, it's where we met Rex.
Supernatural Inc.
Fantastic guy, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Stay safe.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.